it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
And there it is.
That was so loud.
Am I loud in your ears?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
you
sorry.
were yelling at me. That was scary.
I can turn you down. So
Loud to me.
hey, boom. What's up? Welcome back, goddammit, to another edition of Tell Me a Joke. The guy like chasing the dream. I'm your host, Maniacal, Menace, Cosman. Said the whole thing like pimp named Slickback. And it's the new year, okay? It's the new year. Wifey on my side. Say hello, Dahlia.
Hi.
Hey, boom. We are coming back for part 2, the recap. The recap of not the recap, just the second edition, because we have another edition.
This is the after.
The after.
We did the before.
Yes.
I gave birth, and this is the after.
This is the afterbirth. Hey.
Oh, Lord.
Look how we're starting.
Divorce.
Great already.
That's how we're starting.
Great already. I love it. Yeah, this is good, though. How are you feeling?
This shit sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, but they don't know what's going on, so it just sounds like I'm hating on my baby, but I'm not.
No, we're not. We're not. We got a baby now. There's a baby here. There's a baby after all the months, after all that time. Almost like 10 months, huh?
It was 10 months.
10 months. And then, poop, a baby in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was,
I'm glad somebody did.
yeah. Your process. How were you feeling during that whole little stint of pregnancy?
We're going to talk about pregnancy first.
What do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about the baby first?
No, I think pregnancy is a great place to start.
Yeah, I think that's good to start.
0 out of 10. Do not recommend.
0 out of 10.
Especially if it was an accident. Don't do that.
Ah.
Live in a state where you have choices.
Yeah, that choice went down the drain. We was like, we gonna keep it. Oh, we gonna keep it. Tears in our eyes and everything.
When I tell you that was one of the worst days of my life.
Yeah. I saw it in your face.
Because let me not, but that might be a little much for the podcast. But when I peed on that stick and it was positive, and I already knew it was probably going to be positive, I was so upset. I called my husband up at work and cussed him out.
I already knew the call because she normally doesn't call me at work, and either somebody's in trouble, somebody's hurt, or she's pregnant, and that was the latter there.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm pregnant.
It was like,
I hate you.
Oh,
because it was not. Intentional, and I was very
finish
upset.
Work. I knew it happened though. I was like, oh, that's pregnancy right there.
Yeah.
I know that. I know what this is.
Yeah, I mean, I knew the moment that I got pregnant. I was like, oh man.
Oh man, what are we gonna do? We gonna do this? I was like, I guess so. Yeah, no,
because it's actually really cute. Kyle was just kind of like, whatever you decide, I'm with you.
Yeah,
that's what you want in a person that you. What did they say?
Love.
No. What did they say? The bumping nasties, uglies. Bumping the uglies. Is that what people say?
Touching genitals.
Yeah, when people do that mess, that's the sort of thing that you want. Somebody who will be like, yeah, whatever you decide, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the whole time. But the thing about it is that we live in Texas.
Yeah.
And so, I'm texting the hotlines to try to get information, to try to see.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the week when they were trying to outlaw the pills.
We was definitely going to kibosh this.
And because really and truly, I'm so glad that my parents don't listen to the podcast.
Oh, that's a good thing.
They'd kill me.
Yeah.
But really and truly, if there had been a place that I could have just driven to within that week, made an appointment and gone, that's what I would have done.
I hit up some friends. I was like, I know somebody that knows something about this, and I can go ahead and hit them up. And it was like, okay, let me see the information you get. And it's like, all right, we're just going to take a trip.
But I was like, I don't want to cross state lines and then it be me have a criminal record over something that a few months from now or a year from now, we'd be excited for, you know? So it was kind of like, man, this timing is terrible, but we live in Texas and it is what it is. Like, if I could have just taken care of it right then, it would have been taken care of. But that wasn't an option in Texas.
We got a Texas baby because of Texas laws, but
he's okay.
he ain't no Texan. He's a straight Louisiana boy.
Is he?
I mean, shit, with a name like that, yeah, he might as well be. Yeah. Finally got that social in, you know.
Oh, my
so
word.
that's good. That's good. He can finally start paying dues, and I enjoy that. I'm prepared. I'm prepared for all of that that's coming back to me, and it's like, the fruits of our labor are gonna be nice. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Like things are you'll be able to get paid off for and everything. It's crazy how I'm just putting all this burden on him now because it feels like it. Yeah. But he's here and he's healthy. He's here and he's healthy. To say that he came in our kitchen.
Anyways, pregnancy sucks.
Pregnancy
I hated
was.
It's really funny because, like, when I first got pregnant, people talk about morning sickness and all that sort of stuff.
Ooh.
And it's so funny because, a couple of days after finding out I was pregnant, I was feeling a little nauseous, but I was like, this is the sort of nausea I deal with all the time because I have really bad periods and all sorts of stuff that goes on, all sorts of disorders. I'm real special, right? So then I remember I went to the park to see some friends and I came back and I was like, I feel so sick. And the feeling did not leave for months. And I was so sick. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. We had to unplug every scent in the house.
Oh my goodness, that was terrible.
We all had to switch lotions.
Yeah, I'm on a dry lotion that comes out of a bucket. I never used a. Yeah, but I ain't never used a lotion that I can't pump into my hand. I'm not used to that
because I
don't like lotion under my fingernails. Not saying that it's a bad thing. It's just like this is different. This is new. I guess I could deal with it.
And my husband does not respond well to different and new.
Oh no, hell no, man!
He's
different
so bad
and new
at
is, It's not what I'm prepared for. I'm ready for something that I already know how to handle it. It's very difficult to handle lotion that comes in just a cup and
in a
it's
tub.
Like,
it was like the Cetaphil dry skin.
I got chunky fingers, and it's hard to get my hand inside the tub.
Fingers.
Yeah, man.
I laugh at his fingers all the time because they're short and fat.
I'm getting close to the bottom, and I'm gonna need like a popsicle stick to start getting that out of there.
They make those specifically for
really?
lotions. Yeah, I had one. My dad got it for me for Christmas one year.
Okay, that's good to know because I thought I was just being lazy.
Yeah, they make the little spatulas that way to prevent germs and stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's a good thing. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The process of you being pregnant, it was just I thought the hurt would ever just like subside. It seemed like the entire time you were just very, very, very miserable.
I was so miserable, you guys, because the problem was that I knew that my morning sickness was really bad. It was all day sickness, but like I had a feeling that it was going to go away eventually, and it didn't like just end in the beginning of the second trimester. It went like halfway through the second trimester. But it's like then there were other problems. Like I have a connective tissue disorder. So then I remember we were in New Orleans. You were doing a show. I dislocated my hip sitting watching the show. And then I was hungry, so then I had to limp to go get red beans and rice. Like it was really bad. Like I would just be randomly dislocating my hip, and like I couldn't sit. So we go on this family cruise and I cannot sit because there's this pain in my tailbone that will not go away. So the only thing I can do is lay. When you're on a cruise, you think, oh, you lounge around and lay. Not really. Not really.
Yeah, everything's so far away. The upper deck, the lower deck. It's like, ugh.
And I couldn't do anything on the cruise because they don't let pregnant people do anything.
It wasn't all that. I mean, the excursions, some of them that we went on were pretty fun. But other than that.
I would have loved to be in a cave. Or whatever,
that
or
water
zip
was
lining.
Very cold. Zip lining could have been better.
I'm sure, but it's just like it's no fun when you have to stay behind or you just kind of have to sit or whatever.
I felt so bad for her.
And then like it was also really bad because the thing about cruises is that unless you go on like a Disney cruise or something, it's a whole bunch of grown folk trying to get into some debauchery, and pretending like they don't have kids.
Yeah.
Personality-wise, that's not me. I don't drink. I don't do drugs.
No.
And then I was pregnant, so I'm like, everything smells like cigarette smoke. Everything smells like alcohol, and I just wanted to strangle everybody. And I felt bad. So I'm like, oh, y'all are having a good time, but also you reek of all the things I hate.
For her. It was too much. I mean, we went on one excursion to tequila drinking and all that, but you didn't drink any tequila, of course, because you don't drink. But still, you came
also
with
pregnant.
us, and you got to go on the ride and all that. Now that was the bus, and then we got to go to the store afterwards where I got my Cohibas from.
Oh my goodness.
My Cohiba cigars, which were uppriced and terrible cigars, basically the bottom of the barrel out there. But you know, they sold me on it, so I was like, "Oh yeah, hey, look, Cohiba, Cohiba, Cohiba." I was like, "Sure, that's what I see on TV. I'll buy. I got it." And then I bought it, and then I was like, I got better cigars down here. The cigar guy told me, he was like, "Oh, they got you, didn't they?" I was like, "Yeah, they did. They got me." You know, but, you know, I felt bad. I felt really bad. I was like, because the whole time, he was like, "You better not get me pregnant before we go on this cruise." And I was like, don't worry, I got it. Pull out game strong. And then, you know.
Not as strong as he thought.
No, it wasn't that. It was just like, oh, well, I guess this is happening. And
that's not how I felt.
I always understand. There's things that I always said, like, "Hey, this is happening," and you're like, "Oh, okay, whatever. I like it too." And so, you know, it just keeps going, and I'm like, that's pregnancy right there. That's definitely what that is. So, you know, accident, not accident. I understood. I kind of know these soldiers. I took a test to see if these soldiers were still soldiering.
I made him take a test.
Yeah, you made me take a few tests.
Because I married an old man who had no kids.
I'm not that old, but Jesus. Thank you. Like, my sperm ain't gonna work.
Well, it's not that I thought they wouldn't work, but I was like, you know what?
100%.
But I wanted to make sure that when we wanted to have kids and plan for them, ha ha ha.
That's a good planning.
But I was like, you know, I want to make sure that both of us are aware of like where we're coming from. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm probably going to have issues getting pregnant because I have PCOS and whatever and whatnot. Obviously not a problem. Like literally the first time that there was a possibility for me to be pregnant, I got pregnant.
The Lord came down. Jiminy Cricket came and blessed that belly button. It was like, bling, there it is. There's a baby in there now. I thought it was going to be difficult. Like, I was just like, this doesn't normally happen to the people that I've known. I'm like, it tries, you got to try, and then, you know, it doesn't take, and then some people got to get their cervix and stuff sewed up, you know, and it's like, whoa. What? Yeah, whatever, the inside, so the baby don't fall out, or you don't have miscarriages and such. Yeah, you know, so I've, you know, to say this was the first one and it went out without a hitch. It's like, oh, okay, super strong over here, huh? All right, I like it. We got a strong, high yellow baby that came from it. So, you know, that's amazing.
He is a little bright.
Everybody was like, "Oh, you got your little boy, oh, little soldier,"
which is so weird.
God, I didn't.
When I tell you, it takes everything in me. Like, I have to walk away to like not get in people's face and be like, "The fuck you mean? Like, what the fuck you talking about?" Like, because. I have this really strong visceral reaction to this idea of like all these people are like, "I'm a boy mom," and just like dumb shit. Like, I'm like, no.
I hate that.
I'm like, look, it's either you're a good parent or you're not. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, your kid is a kid. They may decide that they don't identify as any of that shit. Regardless of how you feel about gender identity, that's a whole human being who gets to make their own choices. Like, they're not an extension of you. They just came out of you. Yeah. They cut the cord. It's over. They're their own person now.
I cut the cord. Yeah, and he's here, and it's just like, all right. Like, I thought I was gonna have a girl, but I think that was my reverse psychology to the universe. And like, it's gonna be a girl. It's gonna be a girl. Boom, you got a boy, and it's like, gotcha, universe. So, you know, I mean, but it didn't really matter to me. I was just like, at certain point in time in my life, I was like, I need some kids. I would like a kid. I would like a kid from somebody that doesn't have kids, which would be nice because I don't want to take care of other people's kids. I wouldn't mind taking care of my kids though. You know, it was kind of like the American dream that I've always dreamed about. You know, I need to dream harder on my dreams that I really want to come happen. But I mean, these were nice. You know, married, house, kid, and we had a dog at one point.
Damn, I'm just nice.
Huh? No, married kid.
Oh.
Like that was just part of it.
Oh.
Yeah, that was, you know, that's my dream. I wanted this.
Oh.
I wish this.
You hear that? I'm his dream, y'all.
Yeah, you know, you've made the dream cut. And you are all part of it now, you know, which is it's lovely. You know, I wasn't expecting it to be like this. You know, no one expects it to be what it is until you're in it, and it's just like, oh, this is nice. You got a few rooms to choose from. Big old house that if you get mad with somebody, you can just go in another room. I never thought it'd be like that. I always thought it'd be apartment living for a very long time until, boom, we got blessed with this. So it's just like cozy. I hate to leave. I hate when I have to leave and go places. So that's always a thing. And now that I have this little man here, it's just like I gotta go make bread. Yeah, but I don't mind. I feel as if I have something to live for now. I have something to work towards. And all of the anguish that you went through with the little man in your tummy.
There was so much anguish.
Oh my goodness! Just up until the time I didn't know what active labor was until I seen active labor. I'm like, when is labor happening? When is it gonna be?
I didn't even know I was in active labor, which was really funny.
Yeah, I'm glad the midwife came and told us as you was watching the midwife.
I was not in active labor.
Yeah, that was.
We'll get to that though. We're skipping ahead.
I like it. I like to skip ahead sometimes.
I know you do.
That's good though. But
pregnancy was miserable for me the entire time. It was really, really bad.
She was gonna get as big as she got.
It just got to a point where I was like, I'm huge and I can't move. Like I couldn't get out of bed, and my back would click every single time that I walked, and it was just.
You had an adorable waddle to you. I enjoyed that.
He enjoyed me waddling. I was just in so much pain. There are so many things about pregnancy that people talk about, but I think for me, it was like I experienced so much pain, but I was afraid that pregnancy pain was going to be something that I'd never felt before. But most of it was like pains that I had felt, but just for a long, extended period of time.
Yeah, it seemed like you went through more menstruation pain, like compared to your pregnancy pain, because during your menses, it is just like, oh my goodness. What are you going through? I want to feel it just so I can understand what you're going through.
Right.
Because you're going through so much, and you're a fragile lady, and I don't.
I'm not really that fragile. I
know
look it.
Your pain tolerance is high as hell.
I guess it must be.
Which is crazy.
It's like, but it's really funny because my family makes fun of me. They're like, "Oh, poor Dahlia, she's so fragile. She has such a low pain tolerance." But I think I just have a high pain tolerance. I'm just in pain all the time.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's low.
Yeah, and you just give me the miserable look. I'm like, you all right? You're like, yeah, my hip's dislocated, but come on, let's go on the journey. And it's like, you sure? I'm fine. It's like, I don't know. If I've had some things dislocate before, and I'm like, this is uncomfortable. I don't want to do anything, but you just fucking power through it.
And it's the worst. Like, I guess it's not the worst, but it's like, the dislocation that I was having, like in my hip, it was my left hip, like every single time, is that it doesn't dislocate all the way. So you can't just like go somewhere and have somebody pop it back in. Mm-hmm. So you just have to wait for it to slowly go back. And it's like, no, this hurts.
Terrible.
Oh yeah, so many pains, so many. Oh my goodness. I can't even. Pregnancy was awful on so many levels. And then you have to deal with the hormones and the emotional stuff. And then it's just, it's hard to be a person in general.
We did pretty good though. From what I've seen, the people that have been pregnant and the people, that I've been around that were pregnant with their spouses and such, it was always back and forth, and it's like, I don't know if she's gonna be here by the time this baby comes, So we may have had a spat or two, something that you can count on one hand, if any, if you want to call it that. But
he said, if any.
Yeah.
I almost. But really and truly, one of the worst things about pregnancy that I realized very early on is that usually I can do a good job of controlling my anger. Mm-hmm. At the very least, not going to take it out on anybody else. When I tell you, I almost broke an umbrella over my husband's head.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that in a cartoony way. Like, the umbrella was broken, but I broke it on the wall instead of on his head because I was so mad at him.
Angry.
He didn't see me crush the umbrella because he went into the other room.
Yeah.
Which might have been part of the fight anyway. I don't remember.
Yeah, I understand most of the time when it's like, oh, you're mad. All right, I'm going to disappear now.
And then, like, that makes me so mad. Like, oh, wow. Like, that was so helpful. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, But like really, like normally, even if I'm really upset with Kyle, I try to like take a step away, talk to other people, other
Walk
married
outside
people.
in the dark.
Yeah, talk to my mama. She'd be like,
You don't need to be waddling down the street in the dark. We don't have no street lights.
I don't waddle down the street though. That's scary. I just be on the front porch.
Oh. Last time you took a walk. It's like,
But it was daytime.
true. But still, we got these stray dogs out here.
I know, but that was back when I was supposed to be walking. Well, I was supposed to walk my whole pregnancy, but
And you ain't never.
I did a few times. But the problem is that it was very, very hot this summer, record breaking, no rain.
True.
We don't have any sidewalks or any street lights.
No.
So then you're walking down the street and then like trucks are barreling towards you and there's
Yeah.
stray dogs and it's like, this is not worth it.
It's a 1-lane highway, but you gotta but it's 2-lane. It's
Yeah.
both ways, and it's like
We live out in the
it's dangerous
sticks.
out here.
Like it's just,
The sticks where nothing but stray dogs and chickens.
and you
shit.
know, my midwife had recommended like, oh, you should swim in a pool, which worked out great because
that was nice.
your parents got that little above ground pool
yeah.
for, they did it for Father's Day or whatever.
Yeah.
So like that was great because out where we live, it's not like there's some public pool that we can just go to.
And I
Again,
don't
we
think
live out
I
in the
would
sticks.
Want to get in that public pool anyway with
And
all
then-
of these dirty people out here.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, hello, baby. Uh-oh.
Deep gulps.
Oh, my goodness.
But like, oh, and during this time, so many terrible things happened. Like Kyle's car stopped working. So then he had to take
yeah.
my car anywhere that he went, which meant I was stranded at home. I don't recommend being stranded and pregnant. Because then what do? You can't go to the grocery store. You can't do this. You can't do
I
that.
didn't like any of it. We were definitely tested.
Just so
especially
many-
my mental. I mean, I knew you were going through it, but I'm like, come on, son. Like, really? Like,
Yeah.
this is what wants to happen during these times?
Right. And like I tried to be, it's really funny. My friend was like, Dahlia, you handled everything really well. And I was like, really? Because I feel like I'm falling apart. But you know, there's no car. And then there's always just the normal life stuff that sucks. And then like,
Yeah.
what do you mean my husband's in jail?
Like getting pulled over for a vape pen that was empty that you had on the cruise. It's like, what the
It
hell?
was terrible. Like, pregnancy was terrible. But then when you compound that with everything else that was going on, I just felt like I was going to die the whole time.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah.
It was
It's
so
like, my wife is at home and she's pregnant. Can I just go give her the car? Nah. It's like, but the house is right down the street. Nah, we gonna take it to the pound, which is 45 minutes from here. I was like, for real? And it was 3 something to get out. Thank you, sir. Thank you for making my life even worse. Oh boy, if I ever run into him again, I'm gonna wish a hex on him. You know, I'm gonna wish a Jonah hex on that motherfucker, because that's about as far as I'm gonna take my anger on somebody that I really despise. And yeah, he was nice of what he said, that he was nice, but you know, I wish evil on him, and that's about it. Don't you wish that evil on me, Ricky Bobby? It's gonna happen. It's that if I see you again, I'm gonna get a lock of your hair. You know?
Oh my goodness, Kyle.
Yeah, and take it down to New Orleans and bring it to that Gregory house.
Oh lordy me.
Yeah, he believes in sangria. He'll get his due.
Oh my goodness.
I'm so angry with this still. I am still bitter about this situation because I'm still dealing with it, and I'm sober since September. So Jesus Christ. Oh, you loving it too. You just loving
When
it.
I tell you, I would laugh so hard when you'd have to go to your little class.
Yeah.
It was very funny because I'm like, okay.
Shout out to Stan.
I was like, you did that one to yourself.
I did.
So it was really funny.
I didn't think alcohol would show up on a pee test, and it does.
But you knew that it did.
No, it doesn't normally, depending on the kind that you take. But you know, I didn't want to believe in. Yeah, I think you're just saying that to scare me. Whatever. And no, they ain't saying it to scare you.
They meant it.
Yeah,
They were
it's
telling you.
It's a true thing. There's 5 panels instead of 4 on this piss test, and it pulls up everything. And definitely it was like, oh, you've been drinking, huh? So you was drinking? Yeah, I was drinking. I got a free beer at the show because I'm an entertainer. And they give me free beer when I do well. And it was like, oh, well, do well in this class, okay, for eight weeks. And then pay $20 every day you go.
They'd be like, where's your husband? I'm like, substance abuse.
Substance abuse. You know, I could have split that shit up. I didn't have to go every Tuesday.
Really?
Yeah.
You could-
The ladies was like, hey, you finished that fast. I was like, yeah, bitch, you said I had 8 weeks. You said I had to go. And I was like, yeah, but most people, you know, they don't go every week. I was like, I didn't have to go every week. Why didn't you say that? You could have said that.
Well, it's a good thing you win every week,
Fuck
though.
yeah, I'm trying to get that shit over with.
Yeah.
The hell with this.
Right.
The sooner the better. No, I don't, taking away my Tuesday like that. It was only for an hour, and if you don't go, you're gonna have to repeat the class or make up them times. And I'm like, man, I don't. Some people, not everybody in there needed to be in there, but some people was like, oh nigga, you need to be here. You have a problem. I get it. You know, you come on Thursdays too voluntarily. Okay. Get it situated in your mind, all right? Because this is all you got from me. As soon as I'm done, owski wowski. I don't want to ever come back to this again. They was like, hey, when your baby get here, you gonna come back and tell us how it is? Yeah, ha ha ha, sure.
Yeah,
Nah, nigga, I can't come back to bring back memories, and I'm gonna get here late, so it's not like you gonna open the door for a nigga. I'm not bringing my baby, so what you expect? And everybody that's gonna be in here ain't gonna be the people that I went into this class with. So
Right.
like, what you want me to do? Say hey to some newcomers, tell you that I'm not doing drugs no more? Sure.
How did you feel when I told you I was in labor?
At the time when you were actually in labor.
When you got back to your parents' house and I said, hey, I'm in labor.
I was like, yeah, I felt as if I would have, like in the movies, I was waiting for the water to splash on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, where's the water? Like, I don't.
Which is so
Is this
funny.
real? Is this happening?
Hello.
Because he was there with me. Sorry, mom brain, you guys. I had pregnancy brain and now I have mom brain. And I actually really hate mom brain / pregnancy brain because I used to be able to remember everything. And now I'm just like, I struggle so bad.
He's sucking the life force out you.
Yeah, it's so bad. Like I'm just sitting, like people ask me questions. I'm like, I don't even know what to tell you, man. I just looked at the answer and you're looking at me to repeat it to you and I don't remember.
Yeah.
When was the last time I don't know, man. Has he? I don't know.
I don't know. This is what I got for you. Just,
All I have is a blank stare.
just go with it. Just help me out. Help me help you.
But what I was trying to say is that we did a hypnobirthing class.
Yeah.
And so, they talked just about the whole birth process and whatever. And they really encouraged us to bring our partners, our support person. In my case, my husband, my baby daddy. And
I knocked her up.
he surely did. And so that they could learn about like the whole birth process. And so, they talked about how it's not like how it is on TV and the water.
Yeah.
Usually your water doesn't break before you go into labor. It's usually like once you're in active labor.
Yeah, I'm so excited because I like science. I like science, but I didn't like the class. I liked the class until the very end, where I was like, okay, I'm tired of these classes now. These are 3-hour classes. Oh
And
my goodness!
and they were at night.
At night.
Because we had to do the Thursday ones because of our baby shower and some of the Saturday afternoon ones. Plus, Kyle was always doing stuff. So,
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm glad we didn't do that on a Saturday afternoon.
well, yeah. So,
That
I mean, there was
would've
no
ruined my
winning.
Saturday,
Oh, my
know.
goodness.
Yeah, I need my Saturdays.
You're so
I
annoying.
need my Saturdays. If I ain't making money, I need my Saturday to rest.
Oh, my goodness.
But they were nice classes. I did enjoy. There's a lot of things that I learned. There's a lot of things that I picked up, and I also reading the book, not the hypnobirthing book. I stopped that. I stopped reading.
Yeah, but
because he's here now. But the
Hunt Gather
the
Parent?
Hunt Gather Parent.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait.
That
till he
ain't
gets
have nothing
older
to do with the class,
to
though.
try. I know it didn't, but it got us into that, into that realm. Or well, me at least. You were already there in that realm. It was like, yeah, hippy dippy. So this is the route it took, and I can't wait to apply some of those tactics to our child. It's just real simple life living. But they were very good classes.
I will never forget my husband because you know how
Let him know.
You be in a class with somebody or like a science partner or something, and like you read the material,
Yeah.
and the person next to you didn't. That's what it was like being in class with Kyle. He did good though, and our teacher loved him and was like, "Oh yes, he was engaged and asked such good questions."
Yeah.
But I remember she asked us to turn to one page, and it just listed all of these different things that you might want to request at your birth, like to add to your birth plan. And one of them is like delayed cord clamping, but they described it as like waiting until the cord is done pulsing. And he goes, my husband just out loud, he saw that and goes, wait, what part pulses? And I was like, sir, first of all, this has been mentioned during this class, but how you gonna say that out loud?
What's pulsing?
Wait, what?
What's happening? What's gonna be pulsating?
Like he was very concerned. And I
What's
was
it
like,
gonna smell like? I don't.
which he asked that question first class. Well, I asked it for him because he brought that up multiple
gonna
times
smell?
throughout my pregnancy. Is
How
it gonna
bad is
smell
it
like
gonna
Katrina
smell?
water?
I can't do Katrina water no more. It brings back old memories. I need to know what it's gonna smell like, if it's gonna smell like anything. And also, the pulsating. Oh man, I ain't ready for nothing pulsating. Reminds me of Alien Resurrection.
I mean,
You
I
know,
always called the
chest
baby the
bursters.
alien parasite when it was inside me, because I mean, that's what it was.
But then when you learn about it, and it's like, oh, that's what the placenta gonna look like. That's exciting.
It was very cool when they dissected.
We
my
got to
placenta.
touch it and everything.
Yeah.
That was fun. Felt like frog back. So,
Okay, so you were waiting for you just expected wet floor when I was like, hey, I'm in labor.
Yeah, I expected to slip on something, kind of like the little prop fall. I expected to be like a banana peel wet on the floor.
Oh my goodness. And then like, let's backtrack a little. So I went into labor on Saturday.
Sabido.
On a Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Now on that Thursday, I'd had an appointment with the midwife. And mind you, I've had Braxton Hicks contractions my entire pregnancy, like from early on. Like I was on the early end of my baby moving and me being able to feel it from the outside.
Ask, are you having some BHs?
So irritating. Oh, yeah, okay, Kyle.
Is that a BH right now?
No, just the pain. But so I go into the midwife and they do the non-stress test. So it's like they put a monitor on your baby's heart and they put one, I guess, like on your uterus. So it's tracking like your contractions and stuff. And so I was just chilling, really and truly. I'm like, this is what I feel like all the time. In fact, I didn't feel like I was really having very many contractions. And she's watching them and she's like, oh, did you feel that? And I was like, feel what? I was like,
Was there an earthquake? What's happening?
I was like, oh, I mean, I guess, like, I feel like the baby might have moved a little bit. I don't know. And she's like, I don't normally ask this. And I thought she was going to ask me, like, a personal question. And I was ready because I'm nosy. She was like,
stick them fingers in you.
she was like, can I check you? And I was like, yeah.
Meaning, let me put these fingers inside real quick, see where that baby at.
Yeah. So she, like, because these are hippie dippy people, so they're really not into, like, cervix checks or anything like that if they don't have to. But she was just watching. And this was a non-stress test just to make sure the baby was okay.
They was very consensual. Consensual?
They're all about consent and autonomy.
It is crazy.
To the point where I'm like,
the doctor, man.
To the point where I'm like, no, I need you to tell me what to do because I don't know shit. This is my first baby. I don't have a preference.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
asking for everything. I'm like, don't look at me. Don't look at her. She
But
don't
it's,
know.
like,
If you gotta
amazing.
do it, do it. I'm pretty sure she's cool with it.
But like
Thanks for asking.
I really appreciate that they ask. You know, like before any move, they're like, "Can I touch you? Can I
Yeah.
touch your belly? Whatever." I'm like, "That's literally what I came here
Can
for."
I squeeze your titty? Let me see it. Can you check it out, please?
But
It's
like,
whoa.
but then it makes you feel very safe. Like I think that sometimes you forget, especially in medical settings, how much autonomy you don't have when people are just
Just
fussing
poking and prying.
and they don't tell you what they're doing
Yeah.
or whatever. So you
Yeah.
know that you have a good practitioner
every step of the way.
when they're telling you, when they explain to you what the thing is, even if you already know, but when they explain the thing to you and what they're going to do, how far it's going to go up. Anyway, she was like, "Hey, can I check you?" And I was like, "Yeah, go ahead." I was like 50% effaced and I wasn't dilated at all, but like the contractions that I was having, she was like, "I think you're in labor." And I was like, "Nah."
This is every day for me.
And so then I was paranoid. I was like, "Well, I'm not going to know when I go into labor."
Yeah.
But my mom had been telling me for weeks at this point. She's like, "Yeah, they'll be like 10 minutes apart and then they get closer together." And I'm like, "Yeah, I understand that in theory."
Yeah, the counter.
But like, I have contractions so often that sometimes it's really hard to be like, okay, well, these were this amount of time apart, so what does that count?
I'm just thinking, they some BHs, right? They just BHs. You all right?
So then, like, I was paranoid all of Friday, and then Kyle had to help his brother move into his apartment.
Oh, terrible. Terrible times.
They're so funny because they're always having to move shit, but like they're always so hateful in their hearts about the fact that they're having to move shit. Oh. It's so funny. Like, y'all did this to you. Like, you're moving.
Yeah. And it's always just us two.
It is always. I mean, that's not even true. It's always y'all two and then somebody kid.
Yeah. That's
every
exactly
single time.
What it was. That's exactly
y'all two
what it was.
And then somebody kid. Because
like
when y'all moved me out my apartment, it was y'all two and Kevin's oldest son.
Yeah. Who they don't really do much. They just kind of look. And
they help. Like, you couldn't see my air quotes, but they help.
You can grab the little things. Just we'll take care of this, and just if we need support,
right,
be here to catch something if it falls.
Right. And I mean, you need somebody to move the little stuff.
Yeah, because it sure does help.
Yeah, just to like get all the stuff in, you know.
Yeah.
The more hands, the better. Not the point. We were moving Big Brother into his place. And so Kyle was going to go over there. He was supposed to be over there in the morning. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with you because one thing that I know is that if I stay at home, I'm probably not going to go into labor. But if I go to that house and I'm at an inconvenient time, you know who's going to go into labor?
Yep.
Me. And that's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what it was.
And part of it is probably the fact that I was running after your brother's youngest kid outside.
Oh, yeah.
It's so funny because your stepmom was like, I saw you doing laps around the house. And I was like, no, I was just making sure my eye was on that child. Because how bad would it be if I lost the kid?
It's a big backyard.
Right, exactly.
He'll take you everywhere. And then he'll pick up something that he probably shouldn't pick up.
And the worst part is I'll let him. Like, all right.
Yeah.
I am that person. I'm like, all right, look.
He doesn't understand a coral snake from a milk snake yet, but he'll pick one up.
Oh, dear. Yeah, not snakes, though.
Mm-hmm.
And this child loves water. So he's like, well, we can go over here and turn the water on. And I said, says who? And see.
He's so smart.
And what I should have known is, like, I was going to go into labor because I was so, like, I didn't have very much patience with the child. I didn't act ugly with him.
You usually have patience with all types of children.
But usually I'm just like, okay, it's fine, whatever. But I was just like, no, why would you? I looked at him and I said, why would you do that?
You stoop down to his level, which is crazy because
like,
you never do that.
Like, why would you do that? And which is a thing that I would generally say to, like, my nieces and nephews or whatever. But I just...
Yeah, usually you let him get away with everything. And it's just like, we told him no already. Oh, but I said though.
But nobody told me that y'all said no. And for the record, they be saying no for no reason sometimes.
But still, they said no.
Yeah, but I didn't know. Now, like, for me, my thing is that if somebody is like, hey, we told him no, I'm with you. But why is this child in here alone with me? If you said no, why ain't you watching?
Because you're his favorite now. He wants to rub
I
your
was
dark
always
brown.
his favorite.
Let me rub the brown.
The child did say that. Because when I was pregnant, he just wanted to rub my belly all the time. But then he'd want me to lift my shirt up. And I was like, this sounds like you'll get older and tell this story. And it sounds like I'm the creepy aunt. You can't do that.
He definitely won't remember that.
Like, I don't know if y'all...
Still in his baby genius stage.
I don't know if this has ever happened to y'all. Like, I feel like you probably have to be around kids a lot for this to happen. But, like, you do something and it's like a neutral thing. But then you're like, oh, no. If the child retells this, I'm going to have to defend myself because this sounds crazy.
Touchy-feely children.
You know, like... Just, yeah. But anyways, I should have known that I was in labor because those children, because there were two little kids there, about 3 years old. I was like, ugh. And I'm not a kid person.
The cutest of buttons, though.
But like 3-year-olds are my favorite.
No. It's hard to tell them no.
And so I was just like, y'all are making racket. Y'all are going to break those ornaments.
Ratchet
and y'all are doing all this stuff around me. Go away. Which I've been good about not being like that. So I was like, huh. And then a few hours later, labor started, and I was like, oh. Mm-hmm. That's why y'all are so irritating to me.
Mm-hmm. They understood. They're preparing. They're prepping for the little one to come into the world.
So 3:30 p.m., I go into labor, but I didn't know because I was trying to catch a nap on your people's couch.
Yeah.
So
this is why this is all going on while I'm moving into an apartment.
I'm
Moving
alone in
things
this
into an
house,
apartment.
and it's dark, and I don't really know where the lights are. And I don't like to walk around people's houses looking for stuff and flipping switches. And I was like, it's fine. I'm taking a nap anyway. I was like, I'm not going to touch y'all's remote. This ain't none of my business. I'm going to just sit on the couch.
There's like 6 of them anyway. It's like,
Right. I'm like, no. So, so I start sleeping. I'm resting. It's great. And then at 3:30, I'm like, ugh, gross, pain, cramp, which again, these are all the things I've been feeling for weeks now. So I was like, whatever. And then Kyle calls me at 3:43. And while I'm on the phone with him, he's giving me an update on, oh yeah, we'll be back soon. Soon never really means soon. He'll be like, I'll be back soon.
No,
and it'll be
like
3
2
hours.
Still. Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. And I realized like, okay, that was one. Or no, I get off the phone with him and I try to go back to sleep. And I was like, so annoyed. So I'm like, of course my husband wakes me up to say he's going to be back soon. And it's never soon.
Definitely need to check on you though.
Oh yeah, it wasn't a problem. But I was just like, ugh, now I got to get back to sleep. And then at like 5:55, I get another one. And I was like, that's 3 in a row. Mm-hmm. Let's wait for another 10 minutes to see if there's another one 10 minutes away. And it was. And then I texted my mom like, hey mom, I think I might be in labor. They're 10 minutes apart. And so then she calls me and we talk on the phone for a while. And then I probably try to go back to sleep. And then my mom calls me again. She's like, where's Kyle? I was like, he ain't even here.
Not
She's
there
like,
yet.
she was like, maybe you should call him and tell him. And I was like, nah. So I waited until he got back to the house. I was like, hey, I think I'm in labor. So if you want to just hurry up and go so we can stop by Walmart. Because he had to get some stuff from Walmart. Mm-hmm. So then we're in Walmart and I'm kind of like, ow. Like I was feeling it.
Yeah,
like
I wasn't ready to go to Walmart with you in the labors. I was like, oh snap, how's this gonna go?
Because at first it was really just kind of like crampy, whatever. Not even, I don't even want to say it like that. I was just like, ouch. Ugh, I don't
I'm
like that.
I'm still waiting for the sploosh on the floor.
Oh my goodness.
Still.
I hate you. And then like we were walking through the frozen aisle and I was like, ooh, I kind of have to stop. And I was like, there's no way the contractions are getting worse. I'm just being a baby. And
There you go. That's that. Oh, I don't feel no pain thinking.
And I was like, ugh, this sucks. But I'm like, I think I'm just being dramatic because I'm in public. That must be what it is. And so as we're going through, like, I'm starting to be like, ugh, this is really uncomfortable. And I kept like looking at my phone and being like, okay, it was this far apart. But I was like, I felt like they were getting closer
You had
together.
a little app, didn't you?
What?
You had a little app, huh? A little contraction app?
Yeah, but I hadn't downloaded that yet.
Ah.
And so then, yeah,
There's an app for that.
I didn't download that until we were on the way home. And I think it's because the midwife told me to, because she asked me how far apart they were. And I was like, well, they were about this far. She's like, do you have an app? And I was like, no. And she's like, well, download one. So then on the way home, I'm like tracking it. And it was just like, I guess they're getting closer together. And the thing about it is that they told us if you're a first time mom, you need to call us when they're 4 minutes apart they're 4 minutes
For 10
apart.
minutes.
4 minutes apart, lasting 1 minute for an hour.
For an hour, yeah.
And so like I get to the house and like it's kind of that, but not really. Like it's almost getting down to 4 minutes and all this sort of stuff.
The time is playing double dutch at the moment. It's iffy. It's like it's
Yeah.
sometimes doing it and sometimes not, so you don't know what to really think.
And it's like I wouldn't know what to count as a contraction because remember, you guys, when I was there on Thursday, I was having strong contractions. Like they're really on the scale. And I'm like,
but she's just a superwoman, so she don't understand what it is.
I'm just like, oh.
This is our first one, so you know.
I was like, oh, my belly's rumbling. Like, no, that was a contraction.
So, am I hungry? No, you contracting right now, baby. Like,
right. So then I'd mess up and be like, so then I'd have one where it'd be like, oh, well, that was 7 minutes apart when it was really 2 that were 3.5 minutes apart. But I didn't count one of them because I was like, I don't know if that actually counts as a contraction. So, and like I'd second guess myself, or like I'd get distracted doing something else, or I'd have to go pee or something. So then it would be like, oh, I didn't tap for that one. So then I had been like, hey, Kyle, we can watch the Call the Midwife special when we get home.
Her Christmas special that she saved till Christmas. It was, oh my goodness. It was very hard for her to say because she loves Call the Midwife. And there was a special that came out way before Christmas. How many months before Christmas?
a year because it's the Christmas special from last year.
Yes.
But
and she was like, I'm going to wait till Christmas time to watch
But they
this.
released it on Netflix, I guess, probably in September. And mind you, by the point in time that they released it on Netflix, I had already watched all the rest of the episodes on PBS. Like, I made an account just so I could finally watch my Call the Midwife. Love that show. So I was like, well, let me save it for like closer to Christmas time. And I was like, ooh, or better yet, for when I'm in labor, because my baby's going to be born around Christmas time.
Perfect.
So I was like, hey, can we watch the Call the Midwife special? I'm so excited.
I was like, yes, ma'am.
Well, you were like, there are fights tonight. So,
oh, yeah.
So my husband watched the fights while I was in labor.
He got to get his taste of fights in before.
Yeah. So I was just like, oh, well, I'm contracting, keeping track. And he's like, ooh, pow, pow, bang, bang. What's your little bop, bop? What do you say?
Yeah. Bop, bop, got him. Bop, got him. You don't see it. Slip that jab. You better keep that head off the line. Bop, got him again.
So I had to wait to watch my special.
Ooh, sticking him with that jab.
So,
yeah, it was a good time.
So, you know, like fights. I'm texting with my midwife, and then around 10, she's like, okay, if there are any updates, call me. That was her pretty much telling me, I'm going to bed. Don't text me. Right. If it's serious, call. And so then like at 3, no, that's
not that
it was wasn't... 1 or 2. It was probably around 1.
The first, when she came the first time, the first time, yeah. it was closer to 3.
Right, but what I'm saying is that it takes her like 45 minutes to get here. So I'm saying when I was contacting her and trying to figure stuff out, right, it was probably around 1. Yeah. So I was having these contractions and I was like, oh, they're getting stronger and they're getting longer. And the app is saying that they're about 4 minutes apart. And it's been like this for an hour. And so this is my first kid, so I don't really know what to expect. So I was like,
so I'm just up and sleeping.
So I'm just following the rules, right?
That's what she said.
And so everybody's always like, okay, in early labor, you should rest. And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't know if I was in early labor, active. Like, I didn't know.
No one knew.
There was no way for me to know because I haven't done this before. So she was like, okay, well, are you ready for me to come? And I was like, I don't know. Like, how am I supposed to know?
It's going to take you so long to get here. Just come. He was like, you told her to come the first time.
Because I was like, I called because that's what I was supposed to do.
Oh, and it was a frigid night that night, too.
Was it?
Yeah, it was cold.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I had to go outside and get her bags.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I was chilling on the couch.
It was so cold that night.
But then she comes, bless her heart, in the middle of the night. It's like 2 something in the morning because she left around 3. Mm-hmm. And so she comes and she checks me. I'm only 80% effaced and 2 centimeters dilated, you guys.
Not even ready.
I ain't shit. There are people who are 2 centimeters dilated and don't even feel contractions. And they're like that for weeks. I'm in 2 centimeters dilated. But like I was definitely in labor, but I just wasn't in active labor. She's like, well, it doesn't seem like you're in active labor to me. And blah, 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 this, that, and the third. So then like I'm sitting there like, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry that I made you come out. She's like, no, it's great. Now I know where you are, this, that, and the third.
Which was very satisfying to me to be like, oh, okay, so this is what's happening. This is all right. This is good. This is some good information. Because,
like before she left, I was like, I am in labor though, right? She's like, yes, you're definitely in labor. It's just because not active labor.
In my head, I am still waiting for the sploosh. And
oh my goodness.
I'm like, it's gonna happen, right? And it doesn't. It doesn't happen.
So then I'm sitting there, and then I'm like, all right, I feel so dumb because I'm like, I just called this lady here
out of her bed,
right into the country where there are no street lights in the middle of the night, and I'm like, well, I don't want to do that no more.
Don't turn the porch light on. Good luck finding us.
Right, like I just felt so stupid. I was like, I don't want to do that to that lady no more. And so then, when I tell you 2 hours later, probably less than 2 hours later, I was in active labor. She was like, try to get some rest, blah 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 blah. Right?
Man, ain't no rest for the wicked.
I couldn't. I was like, okay. So I tried to sleep. And I think maybe baby was sunny side up or something. So she was like, hey, you should lay down in this particular position. That position was so uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. I was like, I just could not sleep. So I didn't get any sleep. So like, you know that feeling where you're trying to sleep, but you can't. So then you're just more tired from trying to sleep. That was me. Kyle, however, was snoring.
Oh, I had got my Z's in. So then I knew I was going to have to be in mode once I got up.
So then it was one of those things where like you're trying to sleep and then your husband snore and wake you up, and then you're just in pain, and you're just like, oh, this is worthless.
Worst.
So then I just kept looking at my.
I couldn't go in the room though. She wanted me to go in the room, but I was like, no, I need to be here just in case, because I need to hear things just in case you fall. You're not supposed to be alone, so I'm gonna be right here next to you with the snores. I need a CPAP.
So helpful, right? Sorry, baby. So then, like, from that point in time on, I was in active labor, but I just didn't know. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's going to get worse than this. It's going to get worse. So in my head, I kept telling myself, like, I can't believe that it's going to.
Yeah, you psyched yourself out the wrong way.
Because people are like, imagine your worst period cramps, but it's 10 times worse.
Yeah.
That's not what it felt like for me. Although there were some period crampy feelings. So like they always say like, oh,
what they call it, the sting?
Ring of Fire?
No. The vagina stuff that happens. Stingy vagina with stingray.
Lightning crotch?
Lightning crotch.
Oh my goodness.
That there. She was very worried about lightning crotch the entire time.
Because I've suffered from lightning crotch since I was like 9 or 10. And it's the worst feeling ever.
Lightning crotch.
And so like throughout pregnancy at varying times I would feel it, and especially in the 3rd trimester. So I was like, if this is what labor feels like, I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm going to have to go get an epidural because I cannot do extended periods of time of lightning crotch.
She
Yeah,
was
because
not
that's
looking
terrible.
forward to extended periods of lightning crotch.
But that's not what it was.
No.
But what I will say is by the time I got into active labor, the only like for the majority of the time that I was in labor, active labor, I was sitting on the birthing ball. That was the only position. I couldn't do like all fours on the couch or all these other things that they recommend. I was like, I'm on this birthing ball.
They tell you polar bear. And I was telling her, polar bear, baby, polar bear. And polar bear she was like, no, Kyle. That's not, I know. I'm going to sit right here. I'm like, oh, okay.
But when I tell you that was the most comfortable, I mean, I got like 5 minutes of sleep a couple of times on that birthing ball.
Intervals.
And like with my arms over my head, like laying on the couch. My head was on the couch and that was it. But yeah. So they always say that like back labor is the worst.
She looked so defeated.
And so I was like, I believe you guys, but I thought it would have felt different. And keep that in mind for later, right? So I'm in labor. And at a certain point I was like, Kyle, I need you to help me. Because mind you, he's just on the couch chilling. And I'm just like,
I don't know what to do.
I'm just like, wow, you're not even going to ask me if you can do anything. Like, wow.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do.
Wow.
I was just there. I was like, what do you need? I can get it. I'm here. I'm able-bodied. What you need?
So then the other thing is that, because I had the baby at home, like you can eat. So I had.
Oh, she had all her snacks.
So I made sure that I had like Go-Gurt in the fridge and some grapes and things that are easy to eat. The problem is that I just didn't want to eat it by the time I was in active labor. And then for the rest of the week, I wouldn't eat those grapes because they tasted like labor. My mom was like, my mom was like, you want some grapes? These grapes are so good. The entire time she was there, she was like, oh, they're so good. And I was like, Mom, those taste like labor to me. They taste like labor.
Grapes to the chickens.
But anyways, so I'm on the floor on this ball. And so I'd be like, Kyle, I need you to press into my back. And I had him pressing so hard. And then I'd be like, Kyle, tell me something good. Because, these labors.
Thumbs.
The contractions were definitely probably like 4 or 5 minutes apart, 3 minutes apart, all this sort of stuff.
Tell me. And yeah.
And this was for hours. And I was like, well, I was 2 centimeters dilated. It's going to get worse than this. That's active labor is going to feel worse.
I knew the one thing that even though they say to at the hypnobirthing class to tell your wife, remember breathe, remember we got to take our breaths. I knew that was going to get aggravating, so to not do that, very
irritating.
To not do that, so I was like, you got this, you shit, we got a little man coming, we good, you got this, you strong, you're a strong mama, and I would say good things like that.
Even when I was pregnant, it would irritate me so bad when you'd be like, did you practice your breathing?
Yeah, I would do that every once in a while just to get, because I knew it would tick you off just a bit.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah, because I know you didn't like it, because I hated doing it. I hated saying that.
That's so funny.
But, you definitely got to get your hypno breathing.
But the thing about it is, like, I enjoyed a lot of the concepts in hypnobirthing, but there was no way that I could apply them as is to my life. Like, that just wasn't going to work for me. Just personality-wise, it wasn't for me.
You're not a very, I'm going to sit down and meditate type of holistic person.
Yeah.
Nah.
it's never, all that stuff has never really worked that well for me.
Comes through shrooms and acid, so I was all about it. But I'm like, how y'all doing it now? I'm good.
But like there were some good techniques and visualizations that were helpful later on. But it's just kind of like, okay, you know, I just got to get through this. And I think that sometimes people get like caught up in like, I want to do this thing in a particular way. And they get caught up in that versus like, for me, I just said, oh, I want to get through it. Like even in the class when they asked like, what's your ideal birth? I was like, one where the baby's healthy and I don't die. What do you mean? And everybody else is like, well, I want a 3-hour labor. I want it to be fast. I was like, I don't really care. I just want it to be.
Just want this baby to
I
get
want
out
it
of
to
me.
be doable. That's all I want. I want him healthy. Like, what do you mean? Y'all out here. I have to have my birth in the water. Y'all are so.
Nope, didn't care. I was just like, just make sure he gets here on time
Safe,
and
like-
that my wife is safe.
Yeah, like that's. So, anyways.
I prayed over her belly often, but I don't think she knows.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, when we would be sleeping, I'd pray over your belly.
Oh.
Yeah. Just to make sure everything was good. I was like, Lord, keep us safe.
So I was having my husband do counter pressure on my back.
Oof.
And then that wore him out. So then he had to take another nap.
Yeah,
And
that was a bit much.
And so then I'm just like, wow.
Couldn't press hard enough, apparently.
And so then I'm just like, wow, he's just going to leave me to be here on this ball again.
I couldn't
Wow.
press hard enough, but apparently I was pressing too hard.
Yeah. So what happened was, so laboring. And then like I went to the bathroom and like, oh, there's blood, which is fine. That's normal. But I was like, okay, well, does that mean that like maybe the midwife should come? So then I'm asking questions. And then eventually I was just asking too many questions. She's like, all right, I'll head over.
Yeah.
So then what happens is I am on the couch.
Watching? What you watching?
It wasn't called the midwife.
What?
There's no way.
Yeah. You called the midwife when you yeah. Was that the second time or the first time? Because you was on the couch watching Call the Midwife. You
When
called
the
midwife.
when she came the first time in the middle of the night. But this
Oh
is,
yeah, no, the second time you wasn't watching anything.
No.
Yeah, it was closer towards the daytime.
no, by that point in time we had music on. We had my labor playlist on.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
The labor playlist, because she got a playlist for everything. And it took her forever to get the playlist up.
Because I don't use Spotify. I use Apple Music. So it was just this whole thing. And then I couldn't log in. And I'm like having these terrible contractions. And I'm like, oh, what's the
too
login?
much.
Oh, what's the email? Oh,
It
what do
was
you mean
like
you
she was
can't
going
find
through a
it?
bad acid trip and she had to write down instructions for something. It is very
It was
difficult.
so terrible. Because
Difficult
like
to text.
he couldn't search up my username and find me like, you know, normal. So he couldn't just from his account because he pays for Spotify. I have the free one. So then I have ads, which is irritating, which is fine because I don't use Spotify that often.
I use it all the time.
So I was like, well, if you can just look up my playlist and you can put it on and it'll be fine. Nothing can ever be that simple when you're in labor.
No.
So we have my playlist on in the background. So I'm on
Great playlist, by the way.
Thanks. So I'm on the couch and the midwife had said that she was on the way. And, you know, this entire time I've been like in labor, but I thought I wasn't in active labor yet, or that like active labor had just kind of started.
Wasn't sure still, because we're newbies.
Right. Y'all, all of a sudden I feel like I'm puking out of my vagina.
Oh,
That is the best way to describe the sensation to push your baby out. Now, mind you, I'm like, I haven't even made it to active labor. There's no way I can be pushing right now. But all of a sudden, I was just like, oh,
And
like I
that's-
kind of felt like I was going to be, and I was
that's
just
when
like,
it got exciting. That's when
And
it sounded
so-
like Dory was speaking to the whales.
oh my goodness. But that first time I was just like, ugh. Like, because it really,
Not right away. Not right away.
because I kind of felt nauseous, really. And by that point in time, I
like,
had
"That's
been
a
feeling
push."
nauseous, and I'd be like, Kyle, I'm going to be sick. And so we'd have to bring like a trash can or whatever over.
Dry
little one.
heaves. Yeah, some dry heaves going on.
Hello,
All the
buddy.
time I've known this girl, I've never seen her or heard her throw up. This is the first time I've gotten close to hearing her do something, and I was like, "Oh, here it comes!
I hate you.
I finally get to see it." And she, and I'm like, "Oh, that's weak.
Oh my
Weak
goodness.
dry heaves." But
Hello, baby.
So on the couch, and all of a sudden I'm like, but again, I've never done this before. So I was like, is that what the urge to push feels like? So I called this woman. I was like, hey, how far away are you? She's like, I'm
got
around the
urge,
corner.
Natural botanicals.
And so, oh my goodness. I was like, how far away? She's like, oh, I'm around the corner, like 5 minutes. And I was like, okay. Because then I'm freaking out. I was like, I am pushing and my midwife is not here. we paid good money.
The cervix does it on its own.
We paid good money for these people to deliver this baby.
Yes.
What you mean you're not here and I'm pushing?
You gotta be here.
And so like that sensation happened, and then I was like, oh, now I'm all wet. So like my water had started to come out and leak.
I thought I smelled it. She was like, you shouldn't smell it. I was like, I smell something.
But it's because I was
me.
wearing period underwear. So
Yeah.
a lot of times they weird
Very
smells.
earthy. That's
Yes.
what it smelled like. If y'all wondering what the smells that I got, earthy smells.
Yeah.
That's it. It wasn't bad.
Yeah. It smelled like
I
period.
had to get the tub and everything ready though. I was prepared. I was
Yes,
ready to
my
get the
husband blew
birthing
up
tub
the
and all
tub.
that. And I had the water in there. I had it too hot though. I had it way too hot. And I was sorry about that. I didn't know.
And so then she gets here and she's just calm and talking like this. And then like I remember
So weird.
And then so she's kind of taking over Kyle's role because he had to like blow up the tub and do all that sort of stuff. Hello. Hello, little one. And so then like she gave me some counter pressure and I was like, that felt like she just laid her hand on my back. Like, what?
Yeah, I was like, no. You got to do it like this. This ain't going to work.
So then like when they would be doing something and then I'd get, you know, a contraction or whatever, I'd be like, help me. And she's like, no, you have this. You can do this. And I'm like, I don't think you understand. Help is shorthand for come press on my back, Kyle. Because I didn't have the words. It was
I was
just
like, watch out. I got it.
So anyways, Kyle's getting that ready and the water was too hot. And so like I'd been like, hey, I think I'm starting to push. And she's like, are you sure? You don't seem very pushy to me. Because then like after that sensation to push, then I had like a normal contraction. So it'd be like.
Yeah. After once she said you don't seem very pushy to me, that's when like the baby proved her wrong.
But it would be this sort of like, okay, push. And then like I'd have a contraction or two that were kind of like regular, and then like the sensation to push again, and I'd be like, oh, it's coming again, and it scared me so bad. But then I don't even have my birthing tub ready, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah, you was like, can I get in?
And so, you know, I'm standing there just like shifting my weight back and forth because I'm in labor and I have to push and all this sort of stuff, and I'm like, okay, so can I
Level
get in
of
there?
labor pains though, what from 1 to 10?
It wasn't a 10. And a lot of it is like more discomfort, like than it is like.
So for these
pain.
at-home people that want to give birth at home,
Like, it
wasn't-
was so
But also,
doable.
she's a superwoman, so you know everybody's pain tolerance is different. Hers is very high, apparently. So,
Like when I
but
tell y'all again, I was
she
I was
says
waiting
very
for it to
doable.
get 10 times worse, and it didn't. I was like, oh, that's
no
That's
epidural
all.
needed.
And so then we have this crazy weird cutout in the middle of our living room kitchen area because our house is interesting. And so like I grabbed onto what essentially is like a column. It's not really, but that's the best way I can describe it to y'all because y'all can't see this mess. And I'm not going to give y'all a layout of our house. I don't want y'all to rob us or anything. So I like
Robin season.
So, you know, like I'm waiting for this tub to be filled up. She's like, okay, the water's still too hot. And I was like, all right. So I'm like waiting for it to cool down. She's like, it's going to cool down soon. Oh, hello, little one. I know. Are you hungry? Kyle, say something. While I switch him to the other side.
Okay, he's getting switched over. He's a little hungry. Yeah,
Hungry baby.
and basically,
baby.
she started to really get a good grip on that column right there, and I was like, oh, and this is the point in time where things started to get real loud, and I was like, oh my god, is this happening right now? I mean, I think at all point in time it was happening, but at that time I was like, oh, this is happening.
Like that was the first time where I like did that guttural, like
Yeah,
crazy woman yell.
you was talking
like
to the
I,
whales.
Like I was holding on to that column for dear
You
life.
definitely spoke to a few whales and they probably heard you. Yeah, I was just like, my eyes started to well up, and I was like, oh, this is a magical moment that they've been talking about.
And I'm still waiting for the water in this tub.
Yeah, I
To
was
cool
like,
down.
Get it together, nigga. You gotta do things.
And it's so funny because like I wasn't even like upset with Kyle. It was just one of those things where it's just like I'm ready to get in the water to see if that feels any better.
Mm-hmm.
And so then she's like, well, you can get in now, see if it's too hot for you. I was like, it's fine.
She likes hot water.
I do like
but
hot
you
water.
also gotta think about the baby that's gonna be coming.
Right. So
He
you
might
know,
not like that hot
there
water.
are rules about how hot the water can be and all this sort of
Yeah.
stuff. So she was like, okay,
She took
it's
the
gonna
water's
cool down.
temperature.
Yeah. So I get in and she's like, how does that feel? I was like, this is amazing. This is so much better. And then I pushed for maybe 10, 20 minutes in there.
Yeah, like I would say, like maybe 3 or 4 big pushes,
Yeah. Really and
and
truly
that was it.
in the water. And I will say that the water was nice, especially because I spent so much time out of the water. I think that like if I had been in active labor and was in that tub that whole time, it probably wouldn't have felt so nice by the time
Hence
that
the mermaids on the wall. I don't know. It just seems
mermaids
like
on what wall?
on our wall.
Which wall? In the mermaid bathroom?
No, the mermaid in the backs that my daddy drew.
Oh,
But yeah, the mermaid bathroom as well.
I was like, it's like there's mermaids everywhere. Which ones are you talking about?
Yeah,
I
all of
like
them.
mermaids.
All of them. She felt calm in the water.
But oh my goodness, the most surreal part for me was like feeling the baby's head, because like I'm in there, and you know they tell you like, oh, first time moms, like his head will like come out and then go back in, come out, go back in. There'll probably be a cone head and all these things, right? So I'm in there and I'm like, okay, this is gonna take forever. And so the midwife had gotten to our house at almost 11. So like at 10:50.
Around 10 or something.
And then baby was born at 11:50. So literally she was only
yeah.
here for an hour
11:52.
before I gave birth. Yeah. 11:52?
Yeah. Just because 5, 6, 7. That's how I remember it. I took pictures.
Oh.
So it timed it.
Oh, that's wild. Because time of birth said 11:50.
Yeah. I mean, you want to round up, round down? How you feel?
Okay. But
yeah.
yeah. So
He slid right out too.
I mean, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And so like so I'm in the water and like pushing kind of made me a little anxious and like I yelled every single time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like I felt like I had no control over it. It wasn't like some sort of like, oh, I'm in so much pain, I've got to yell.
It was a gradual yell though. It was like, oh, she's powering up. And he looked like a little Super Saiyan down there. I was like, oh, awesome. Yeah.
I don't know if he peed or if I'm just sweaty.
Oh.
But it's also up here. I think it might be.
It might be just sweat.
I'm sorry, baby.
Cloth diapers.
Isn't pee or is it sweat?
It's sweat.
Okay, that's what I thought. Postpartum, not fun. I'm sweaty. and I get really hot, even though I'm normally cold natured. But yeah, like yelling, pushing. It was just this weird, like, I didn't have a choice but to do it. But it wasn't out of pain, which is such a surreal feeling.
It's weird to
not to say
have
that
you put
there
it like
wasn't
that.
painful, but then like for me, the part that like made me really anxious was like, it was nice being in the tub. This is gonna sound terrible in TMI because like I could just put my hand on my coochie,
Yeah.
and give like some counter coochie
Coochie's
pressure.
a fun word, so that's fine.
So you know, it's just like okay, I'm comfortable
Counter coochie press.
because like I knew that it was
pressure.
too early for his head to like come all the way out, and like it was working its way down, so I could like feel it working its way down. But I was like, it's gonna be several more pushes or maybe a long time. I don't know because I've never done this before. And so I was like, but I can kind of like
No, it
do
wasn't
some-
any of that. It was just 1, 2, 3, boom, popped out like a Pez dispenser. I was like, yeah.
But it was like really cool because like then like his head is out and like I can feel it, but his head isn't out.
Yeah.
It's like in my coochie.
He was like, that's her baby's head. And I was like, I can't see.
And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm like holding his head even though my coochie is covering the entire thing.
Oh,
And so like I'm holding my coochie and it's the baby's head.
yeah.
And so like then at that point in time his head stayed there because like sometimes it would kind of come out and then it would just slowly kind of like go back to the position it was in. But it was like, okay, it's out, it's staying out. It's going to be 1, maybe 2 more pushes. Because the midwife was like, 1 more push. And it wasn't 1 more push. It was 2 more.
Yeah.
But like at that point in time where it was like, you're waiting for the next set of contractions so you can finally push him out. It was like, okay, this is uncomfortable. I'm probably going to tear. And I did tear a little.
A little bit.
But it wasn't that bad.
No stitches needed.
No stitches. They were superficial. They were like near the back. Like, it, you know.
Every pregnancy I know, the motherfucker said, oh, I had to get 10 stitches. Oh, he ripped my insides open. It's like, damn. No stitches needed over here. She pushed that thing out, and I caught him. I caught him in my hands, my 2 bare hands.
Because they were like, oh, do y'all want to catch the baby? It's like, Kyle can.
like,
I'm not
what?
going to do it.
I was like, just do your job, lady. Fuck.
But
Get my baby out here.
But it was so funny because I was like, now mind you, I don't think I've ever held a newborn, and I haven't held a baby in over 10 years.
Yeah.
So, like, they're like, oh, it's your baby. Like, pull the baby out. And I was like, I don't, you're barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah, he was almost still in the water. I was like, gotta get him out the water, baby.
Yeah.
I caught him though.
He was
caught
slippery,
him.
and I was like, what do you mean? Like, what are you
Slippery
asking
and
me
white
to
like
do?
a ghost.
With curly hair.
He came out,
And he did start crying immediately, which was nice.
That's a healthy baby, right?
And
there.
y'all, I forgot to tell the midwife to bring the laughing gas, so I just had to do it with no help.
Yeah, I did. Well, shit. I'm surprised they didn't have to spank his butt like you see in the movies. None of that.
Well, they say that if you don't have like an epidural or do the laughing gas or whatever, babies tend to be really alert when they come out. So
That's why they didn't have to do all that mess.
Boom. He was ready and willing to go. Had that white stuff still on him. Vernex. Yeah.
so gross.
Also, the placenta was still attached. I didn't see the pulsating, but I got to cut it. It felt like construction paper cutting through it, which is like not like just one layer of construction paper, probably like 3 or 4 layers of construction paper.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
When you cut through it, that was nice. I enjoyed that. Also, we got to poke it. We got to poke the placenta.
Yeah, and they showed us all the different parts, and this is where your baby was. This is this part.
Wow, look at the tree of life. And I was like,
Because
I've drawn that.
They look at the placenta to make sure that it detached fully and all this sort of stuff. And the placenta thing was so weird because, right, I gave birth in this tub, and then all of a sudden there's like a gush of blood. They see it. I'm just like, I have a baby on my chest.
She's
What the
floaters
fuck?
out of your tub.
And I was like tired and.
They opened the sack and everything. It was like, look, this is where your baby was for 10 months. And I was like, ugh.
So, like, I get out of the tub and, like, you know, they still have the cord attached to the baby because they do delayed cord clamping and whatnot. And so I get out and they're like, okay, we're going to have you just, like, squat and push your placenta out. And I was like,
You got to do more pushing.
But it was really cool because then it just kind of
Blop. Yeah, just
plopped
came
out. Like, it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like they made it seem like delivering the placenta was going to be really hard. Not that they themselves did, but like TV, they're like, the afterbirth is the worst part. I was like,
I
what?
thought that the room would smell like a whole bunch of nasty sex.
Oh my goodness.
Like that's
what you thought?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
so
none
funny.
of that. You didn't get none of that. It smelled like clear water.
I mean, I assumed it was
wow.
just kind of going to smell maybe like a little bit like a period or something.
Not even that. The most
the
pungent thing I
blood.
smelled was the sploosh in your pants. That was the only thing. And I was like, now just because, you know, the mix up with the period blood. And I was like, oh, isn't this nice? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Didn't ask if I was going to get in the tub. I think
No.
my mama asked me that.
Yeah, no.
Did you get in the tub? I'm not about to get in
What?
that tub. I see floaters too, mama. Mm-mm.
Yeah, you're not. No.
No,
Absolutely not.
I'm good. I'm good on that. That it was a great adventure.
Yeah. And it's,
Great
I guess
adventure.
one of the weirdest things to me is like, now after giving birth, it's like, wow.
That was
I want to
kinda
tell
nothing.
people
Yeah.
my story because
Yeah.
like that was kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
I kind of did that. I
Hell
had
yeah.
a baby. I almost had a baby on the kitchen floor.
Yeah, you're like 90 pounds. You was before having this baby inside.
I was
your
90
belly, You
pounds.
was 90-something pounds.
I was 90 pounds.
90.
Mm-hmm.
90. Huh.
And then
You got up to like
I
130,
gained
125.
125. So I gained 35 pounds. Yeah.
Boom. Pushed a 7 pound, 7 ounce baby out of there.
7 pounds, 7 ounces.
Boom. Bounce back like it ain't nothing. Bounce back like rubber bands.
But,
Super balls.
oh my goodness. But it's really weird because, like, I knew postpartum would be bad, but, like, it has been so terrible. And the whole experience was worse than giving birth.
Oh yeah, I've been wondering how you've been dealing with that. I mean, you don't really tell me much besides I'm fine. I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, sure. Your energy doesn't say that you're fine, but also when I look at you, you look like you're like going through it. You know?
Yeah, I'm sleep deprived, obviously.
Oh
Newborn.
yeah. This newborn here he sleep when he wanna, and it's like, ugh.
Up every 2 hours, and I got to feed. Y'all, baby had a lip and tongue tie, so then we had to go get a procedure done.
Never heard about that until my baby had it.
So then he had issues with latching, so then I couldn't breastfeed, and so then I had to pump every 2 hours, and then it was just all of this stuff. And then I had this experience where I felt like I was dying while I was asleep with him on my chest. And so I asked my midwife, like, hey, is this like a normal postpartum thing? She said, no, if that ever happens again, go to the ER. And so it didn't necessarily happen again exactly. But then a couple of days later, all of these red flags were going on in my body. And they were things that when I was pregnant, they were like, you need to go to the ER if this happens.
I'm pretty sure people feel real comfortable when they listen to you on here just because you talk to them. You say y'all and you guys and stuff.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever said that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, like you talk to the whole audience.
I mean, they're listening, so I'm talking to them.
Yeah, okay. Y'all better be glad that she's on here. It's the only time you're going to get these
Personal.
Yeah.
But like there were just all these things going on, and I was like, I think I need to go to the ER. And I called my mom. I was like, am I being crazy? She's like, just go to the ER. Tell your husband y'all need to go to the ER. So.
Yeah.
Because
Kyle first baby's outing right there.
Because Kyle was like, maybe it's because you have new glasses. And then that's when I called my mom because I was like, my husband.
That's just my thoughts.
Right. And so we load up baby and I go into the ER and they go home. And then eventually my sister met me at the ER. But I had
Rainy
been
night.
Even more days before that, somebody had come to the house to check me out, nurse practitioner, midwife person or whatever. And
helper.
Yeah, and like I was struggling to move. I was in so much pain. She's like, you could be taking ibuprofen. And so I started taking ibuprofen around the clock and I felt so much better. But then like I slowly lowered the dosage and it was just all these sorts of things. And so I go to the ER and then I didn't take ibuprofen and I had only taken 2 that day, like 2 sets of 2. Y'all, I was in so much pain. And then they tried to do an internal ultrasound on me after doing an over the belly one. And I cried and they couldn't finish it. They couldn't see anything. It was awful. Come to find out I have a UTI.
Ooties.
Like that's the only thing that they diagnosed me with. But then the doctor was like,
yeah, she's fine.
They were like, you need to make an appointment to see a primary care doctor and a gynecologist immediately because your symptoms are very alarming. I never did make those appointments, so I should probably do that.
Hello. This is news to me.
Oh. But like all they diagnosed me with is a UTI and then gave me the prescription that you picked up. And then that prescription gave me a yeast infection.
Yeasties.
And so that yeast infection possibly gave me a thrush. And so that's fun. And then something else bad happened. Oh, like I think I developed postpartum arthritis in my hands. So now like when I need to squeeze bottles, like hand sanitizer, I can't. Like when I wake up, I can't really move my hands. Like postpartum has really sucked.
Yeah, I've had that before the postpartum. I'm getting old and the joints don't.
Because he's old.
The joints don't flow like they should. The circulation
Man,
isn't there.
Man.
But yeah, that's a very compelling home birth story.
Yeah.
That everybody gets to hear. For the new year, and the baby is here as he suckles. Mm-hmm. We suckle on the podcast. That's what we do here. Now the baby is part of this thing. I'm surprised that he has been quiet this entire time. Well, up until now. Squeeze that thing like a Capri Sun pouch.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
God.
Get in there, man. Get your colostrum. It's not colostrum anymore,
Daddy,
is
that's
it?
milk.
That's milk. Top me off, Daddy. Yeah. Good times. Good times. And I'm glad we got to share this with y'all just so if anybody is thinking about having children, which everybody apparently is now. Everybody
and their mother's pregnant. Like, what the heck?
Ooh, you getting a lot of likes on Facebook. I'm going to get pregnant too, man. Fuck you.
Oh my goodness, God.
So, yeah, it's nice to have this little man here. It is tiresome, though. We knew that was going to be a thing. I'm glad I do get my sleep in before I do have to go to work at butt crack of dawn in the morning. But he's usually waking up around the time that I am leaving, and I think my wife gets like maybe 2 hours of sleep, and intervals of an hour or 2 of sleeping. So when I get here, I take them.
Mm-hmm. I get 45 minutes of sleep, like 2 to 3 times a night, and that's it.
Yeah, but she doesn't sleep good anyway.
It takes me forever to get to sleep, so by the time I get to sleep, there's not much time before he wakes up again.
You know what the reason for that is? She's not going to say it's the reason, but the reason for that is goddamn TikTok is the devil. That's why.
That's not why.
Exactly. I told you she was going to say that's not the reason.
But I've had issues sleeping since I was little. So now here's the other thing. My husband I do like to stay up late, but that's also because I don't sleep very well. But my husband is low key like narcoleptic or whatever because he sit down and all of a sudden he's
I'm
snoring.
out.
Like
I'm out of there.
he's just snoring.
If I'm asleep, I'm sleeping.
He could be doing something and fall asleep.
Oh, I play these games sleeping. It'd
Yeah.
be very difficult. My
So
God,
like
I
he's
die
talking
often.
about like, oh, it's because she on TikTok and she's scrolling. No, I'm scrolling because I can't sleep.
You need to just lay down and close your eyes.
But I do, and then you get really sick of laying down and closing your eyes after 30 minutes of like not sleeping. But he can't relate because he closes his eyes and he's asleep
I'm out of there.
with beer in his hand. He and his
Oh,
brother.
yeah.
It would be so funny. They'd be
We
on
would
the
sleep with our
couch,
beers in our hands.
like they're sitting up, and they have beer halfway cocked to their mouth.
No party fouls.
Just
Ain't never spilled a drop.
right, but they're asleep. They are snoring, you guys. So it's very much like
We be working 10 hours sometimes.
Right.
And then those beers are heavy beers because we drink IPAs.
again, that's not a criticism per se. That's just letting you know his idea of sleep is a little different than mine.
Yeah, it's true.
The way
I sleep at a football game.
and he
I'm
just
tired enough.
he snores through the entire night, you know, because like I'm up with baby and he's just
I had a mouth guard, but it started shifting my teeth, and so I can't wear it anymore.
but I'm glad that he's able to get sleep at night because he has to get up in the morning, so you know.
Yeah, real early. I've been getting my hours in too, because you go to bed early. It is time for us to go to bed,
It
actually.
is.
It's
So,
baby's bedtime.
yeah.
Bless
But
his heart.
we had to come back and give y'all a part 2 of how things are going in this hippy dippy life of living. Also, we got to mention cloth diapers are not all that bad. They are pretty cool.
I feel like you were more worried about the cloth diapers.
Hell yeah, I was.
I was not concerned at all. I was
His
like,
poop
oh.
doesn't. It smells like corn. So
But that's because
it's
he's
manageable.
exclusively breastfed at the moment.
That's
so,
nice.
You know, like right now it's just liquidy and it don't really matter. So,
Oh, but he
it'll
explodes
get
though.
worse.
So it's manageable at the time. You know, but you know when he does explode, it goes everywhere. Which that is a downfall of it because some of them don't cover his butt all the way. But you know,
I got these secondhand, and some of them are handmade.
Oh,
So
that's
they're
going
not
on.
like the ones that you might necessarily buy from like a cloth diaper company. So some of the snaps are a little wonky, you know, not
Yeah.
best quality snaps or like that sort of stuff, or like the elastic is starting to go in some of them.
He got linebacker booty every time he put them things on.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus
They're so
Christ.
sick. And like with,
Man.
with the newborn size ones, the little inserts are kind of small, so I double up.
Yeah.
So then it's like, wow.
That's a puffy little butt.
Yeah, and I guess Key's on circumcision. I don't mind it. He's not circumcised. I'm okay. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
He's my little man, and can't wait till we do karate together. So
Oh.
we sit up and watch cartoons from time to time, which is nice when she gets her sleep on. But this has been nice. I'm glad people get to know about hypnobirthing and about home births and all that.
And a lot of that stuff
about
can be
how our
applied.
New Year's going.
It can be applied to a hospital birth or a birth center birth. I'm really not pro home birth.
I was so happy that I didn't have to go anywhere.
Oh yeah, like I enjoyed it, and that's exactly what I want. If I had another kid, I'd do it again. But I'm just saying, like,
Everybody was like, "You got a bag packed, huh? You ready to do straight route to the hospital?" I was like, "No, straight route to the kitchen. That's it.
right?
That's it. That's all we're going. We got 2 steps over. You know, I got an inflatable tub. We good."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
And then my parents were there, like they came.
immediately.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I was like, I think it's time for us to tell my parents to come over, and they
Big
did.
Mama was here, helping, giving a helping hand,
Oh yeah,
cooked and cleaned and all that. That
and
was
then like
much
she'd
needed.
stay overnight, and
Yeah.
so that we could sleep.
Yeah, we had to take some time. I mean, some of the nights that I was like, no, we need to see what this feels like. Don't deprive us from feeling what it's.
You're
feeling.
saying us? I needed to rest.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, I was gonna take those night shifts because I was off.
Right. So like that was the other thing. It was like in the future, I think I know what I would want to ask for with postpartum help. This time I didn't know what to ask for because it was my first kid. So it's like,
What are you supposed to be asking for?
no, so like you took off of work. or whatever. But like, because you couldn't take off for like 2 weeks, and it's like there was no schedule. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, that's great. Like, I'm glad you're here and you get to spend time with the baby. But then it was like, this is not what it's going to be like for the next forever, you know? So then it was like a pain having to like shift to, okay, well, now my mom's going to do this, to like, okay, well, now I'm going to do this, versus like, I think I would have delegated tasks differently. But,
Oh my goodness.
you know, and prioritize rest in a different way.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Because you look very sleepy.
I am.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even that I'm just sleepy. It's just that I'm so fucking tired.
Exhaustion.
Yeah.
That's good. Well,
We talk too much.
yeah, we're going to let y'all fade out on the baby gulps.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can. Sit there if we can get that. And until next time, folks, keep dreaming, dreamers. Wait, the journey never ends. Some shit. Baby gulps.